I did not know my unique ability until this year. If can you believe that? Here's what unique ability is as defined by Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach. He says, unique ability is at the core of your being, the characteristics and values entirely unique to you. So it's at the core of your being, it's at the core of your being, and it's the characteristics and values entirely unique to you. Now, I know what some of you are saying. Some of you are saying, I don't even know what that is. And others of you are saying, well, that's fine. I do know what mine is, but I could never get paid for my unique ability. In other words, that's a self-limiting belief that says, I don't think I could ever get paid for my unique ability. That's a lie. There are people all over planet Earth who get paid for their unique ability, but I'm just going to tell you, it takes a little bit of work to get there. And that's why most people never, ever make this shift. So let's give you 6 clues. And I'm getting this right from their blog, and we'll put in the link here in a moment. But here's what it says. Here's 6 clues, okay? So number 1, you love to do this everywhere, not just in business. So in other words, I love what LP Jack says. If you remember, LP Jack is one of my favorite quotes. I got it from Chet Scott of builttolead.com. But Chet Scott turned me into the LP Jack's quote, and here's what it says. A master in the art of living draws no sharp distinction between work and play, mind and body, education and recreation, labor and leisure. Okay, so think about that for a moment. A master in the art of living draws no distinction between work and play, labor and leisure, mind and body, education and recreation. In other words, they don't say public life, private life. They don't say love my life, hate my job. But a master in the art of living pursues his or her vision of excellence and leaves others to determine whether they're working or playing. To himself or herself, they always appear to be doing both. So folks, that is the essence of where we want to achieve alignment in our lives, is that when people look at us, they say, are they working? Are they playing? I can't tell. And the word for work in Latin, there's 2 words for work. One is labor, where we get the term labor. It means toil. And the other one is opus, which means masterpiece. So literally today, most of the population woke up to do work. The vast majority is toiling. The exceptional elite are doing their masterpiece. And I'll tell you what, there's people right now who are probably getting fired up or getting angry or getting a little bit emotional. And I'll tell you what, that's a good thing. Don't deny it. In other words, ask yourself, why am I resistant to what Kary just said? Or why do I resonate with what Kary just said? Think about that. Why are you resistant to what I just said? Or why do you like what I just said? Or why does it upset you? I'll tell you what, it upset me the first time I heard it. You ready for the reason why? The reason why I was upset is because I said bologna sausage. I said, no way. I said, no way is that even possible, because it was so far from what I had been used to. In other words, you check in this out, folks. I said that wasn't my experience because I was in a job that I kind of liked. But I'll tell you what, as a pastor, I did a lot of things that I didn't like, meaning a lot of meetings. I hate meetings. I don't have any meetings anymore, any. You know, these are strategic sessions now. I don't have meetings where we just, shoot the breeze or rehash things. I'm wired to be an achiever, a doer, an action taker, and I was in a job where like we were meeting about how to pass the collection plate for 2 hours. Seriously. I'll never forget. One time I looked around the room and I said, oh my gosh, there's 18 people in this room, and we've just chatted for 2 hours about whether we should have a basket, a bucket, a box, or envelopes at the Christmas Eve service. I could not believe the waste of humanity. Now, listen, I'm not attacking churches, but I'm just saying that that's not just churches, that's any business that's not running effectively and efficiently. It's a waste of human potential. So that's why I'm absolutely committed and passionate about you being a soul on fire. Because I'll tell you what, when you're a soul on fire, everything you touch, every person you come in contact with, you're contagious, you're excited, you're infectious. And that's how we're going to change the world. It's not going to be through legislation. It's not going to be through taxes. We are going to change the world by being souls on fire, knowing who we are, why we're here, where we're going. And guess what? Where those three circles intersect, where those three places integrate, is a soul on fire. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. The glory of God is a man or woman fully alive. So this isn't just hype. This isn't just rhetoric. This is a deep passion of mine, so much that, check it out. True story here, folks. True story. At the age of 35, I cried in my director's office as a grown man. I'm just being straight up. I cried in my director's office as a grown man. I was probably around 33, 35 years old, because I didn't think I had anything in the marketplace that was of value. So let me give you the quick story. If you feel this way today, I can relate. Okay. I was so clueless about my value in the marketplace that when the church came to me and said, hey, Kary, do you want to be the next senior pastor? And you know what? We want you to. And we want to declare that. We want to announce that. We want to announce that, but we don't want you to take that role for 10 years. And I'll tell you what, I thought about it. I prayed about it. I knew it wasn't the right step for me, but I was worried that they'd fire me. I was worried that if I said no, that if they told me, well, you're out of here then, that I would go out into the marketplace with 3 kids under the age of 6 and a wife and fail and not have anything to give anyone. I'd never taken a business class in my life. I'd never taken a marketing class in my life. I went to school, bachelor's, master's, and doctorate to teach the Bible. And I thought, you know what? I don't have any, like, who's going to hire me? In other words, folks, I was broke mentally. I was broke mentally. And I share all this not because it's about me, but I share all this to say, I can relate. If you're here today and you think that you don't have anything to give to the world and you don't recognize your true value, I just want you to do this. Be bold and type in the words, I'm there. Because I'll tell you what, I haven't cried much in my adult life. I haven't cried much in front of other people in my adult life. But on that day, speaking to that director, I was scared. I was afraid. I was alone. And I thought I had nothing to give anybody. Kary, thanks for being honest. Awesome. So we have one honest person here. No, I'm not saying you got to say it. Okay, Christopher, you don't need to say it if you're not there. But if you are there, say it, because there's something special about being honest and being real. Now, listen, I know Kary, Aaron, and Kary is fantastic. In fact, I just got her book. And I'll tell you what, Erica, just because she was honest, let's put a link to Kary's book and let's get it out in front of a few thousand people here, because I'll tell you what, Kary has a ton of value. This woman put together this guidebook that says that when you don't know how to get a job, this is what you need. And it is a resource. I have it. In fact, I've already shared it with someone else because it was that good. So I'm just telling you, this is normal. It's normal to not realize your own greatness. In fact, it's absolutely normal. Some of the most talented people, it's called the imposter syndrome, and they don't know their value in the marketplace. But let's talk about those clues for unique ability, because I want you to be able to find what yours is. Again, I only found mine in the last year, believe it or not. How crazy is that? But let's share it. Let's read these 6 things. So you love to do it everywhere, not just in business. Number 2, it shines in many different situations and opportunities. So I'm thinking about my unique ability, and I literally check number 1, check number 2. Your unique ability is factory installed. You've been doing it since childhood. Now, maybe not in the same exact setting, but think back to when you were younger. See, it's not about discovery, it's about recovery. So it's factory installed. Number 4, you do it so naturally, you might not think it's anything special. See, this is why it's so normal. It's so obvious for you that you just think everybody does this. Everybody can do this. Here's the other thing. Other people count on you. That doesn't mean they're paying you though, but other people count on you for these special talents. Here's what else you might say. You might look around because it's so easy and normal for you. You might look around at other people and be like, why are they so stupid? Now, you don't say that, but in your mind, you think like, why do they not get that? Why are they asking me? You know, you don't say, are they dumb? But you kind of think like, why are they asking me? That everybody can do this. You might think other people are lazy or dense because it's so easy for you, but you just take it for granted. And number 6, you can get better and better at this for your whole life and still find it fascinating. In other words, you're not bored. You're not just like, oh yeah, but you're constantly honing your craft. It constantly fascinates you. I had an old pastor friend that said that some people were so unmotivated, he would need to light a stick of dynamite under them just to get them to move. You know, that's not what we're talking about here. Meaning you are just going to naturally break down walls and bust through barriers just because that's a passion. So you ready to see mine? I want to share mine with you. And this is something that I'm super excited to share. And I'll break it down on purpose. So here's my unique ability. I ignite people. Now, I'll talk about that for a moment. I used to think God made a mistake. Why was I a pastor for 12 years? I'm so glad I was a pastor for 12 years. Because I'll tell you what, I think God had to beat the ego out of me, the pride, the entitlement. I think if I would have became this business guy right out of high school, I think I would have had like this massive ego and money drive and stuff like that. Because I was a pastor who basically had nothing, and because I saw people in pain, and because I saw people who needed help and belief, I think that that's why God had me be a pastor first. And I say that for a reason. I'll tell you why I say that. Because you might think that your entire life has been a mistake up until now. You might think like, what in the heck was God thinking by having me do that for 10 years or 20 years? In fact, Nicky, I got to give a shout out to Nicky here for a moment. I love our tribe. I love Nicky. I love Kary. I love Susan. I love all kinds of people here right now. Beth. In fact, I got to announce something here. Don't let me forget about Nicky, but I got to announce some winners here because I just saw Beth. So hang on with me. We got to give some announcements here. are going to announce the 2 winners for the contest about guessing the Igniting Souls Conference speaker themes. These people are getting a t-shirt. These people are getting a water bottle, and we're going to get your sizes for you. We're going to mail this to you. Beth Barnhill. So great job. Beth took action. And Brian Harner, Harner. Beth Barnhill and Brian Harner, you took action. We love action takers. You voted. And so basically, that's amazing. We're gonna shoot that to you. All right. So let me go back now before I get distracted, because that's how I can be. But let me just say, Nicky was an RN, registered nurse. And you might say, like, what in the heck? Now, I know if we chatted with Nicky, she would tell us, oh my gosh, God had me in that place because of this and this and this and this. Listen, Joseph in the scriptures, Joseph was a shepherd. Think about that. Joseph was a shepherd. I'm talking about Joseph, you know, the one who became second in Egypt. Like, we're talking about massive. Think about the most powerful nation on our planet, okay? Or several of the most powerful nations. And Joseph became that. But what did God start him out with? Not only a shepherd, but then a prisoner. So my point is this, folks. Don't think everything up until now has been a mistake, or you can't be redeemed. Those are lies. You can absolutely make the next year your best year, and start looking at your past with gratitude. Because if you go back and you just say, oh my gosh, that was a waste, or I don't know why I even did that. Listen, you are taking this very negative approach on what God has put inside you. In fact, I put this on my Facebook recently. Everything in your life is not breaking you, it's making you. And so I just thought about Nicky the other day, but I thought, you know what? RN, registered nurse. I know people that are in the most unpredictable situations in their past, but it's there for a reason. It's been a preparation for you, okay? So let me go back to the PowerPoint and we'll share a little bit more about mine. Igniting people and projects. I love projects because there's a deadline. Don't put me on something for my whole life. I'm going to get bored. I'm going to get frustrated. I need new. I need innovative. I need exciting. I need challenge. So listen, there used to be people who shamed me. And this is what's going to happen. There will be people who shame you and say, oh my gosh, you just move on from thing to thing. Oh my gosh, what's your problem? You know? There will be people who push against you and try to shame you into being somebody else. And I'll tell you what, the best path to success is you understanding how you're wired. So I literally was put on planet Earth to ignite people and projects to action through clarity, creativity, and collaboration. I was not put on this earth to landscape. Now, you might say, why are you even talking about landscaping? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because life will test you with this whole concept I'm teaching you today. And by the way, are you having fun, folks? I'm having fun. Here's the point, folks. I'm going to show you the pine tree in my backyard for a reason. So let's go take a little walk, all right? Let's take a little walk. There's a reason why I'm doing this. This was part of the plan today. So we're gonna walk. I think the Wi-Fi will still reach. So we're gonna do this. But I want to show you this pine tree because I did something recently. Life tested me, okay? So you see that pine tree right there? I don't know, it's so bright out here, but you see that pine tree? You see the roots at the bottom? I'm gonna explain a quick story about that, okay? But I wanted you just to see that first. But now I'm gonna tell you about it because, listen, I'm just starting to get to master all this stuff. I've known it for years, but the reason why we're blowing up is because I'm starting to apply it. It's one thing to know it. it's another thing to apply it. So let me tell you about that pine tree really quick, okay? That was a blue spruce there. And in Ohio, we have a blue spruce fungus or something crazy. So the tree died. And the tree died. I just brought out the chainsaw. I had to cut it right at the base. And now it's sitting there. And the old Kary, the Kary who, you know, tore his shoulder 3 times, blah, blah, blah. The old Kary would look at that pine tree, and my wife said, hey, let's get a different tree, a non-blue spruce. And so I went out there and I talked with my neighbor, and my neighbor's like, oh man, you want to get somebody to grind the stump. And I'm like, really? Why do I want to do that? He's like, listen, man, it'll take you 2 days to get that. It'll take you 2 days to get all those roots out and stuff like that. And again, I grew up in a way that you used to try to get the cheapest. How many of you are with me? You do that, you know, you're not scared of work. Okay. I come from a German background. We didn't have a lot of money. You just make it happen. You hustle, and you just do the work. You don't hire things out and stuff like that. So I went out there and I put the shovel in the ground, and I did that 3 times. And I was like, this thing is nuts. No way. Now listen, even though I'm an entrepreneur, even though I have a global business, even though I have a 7-figure business and all that, I'm still poverty minded in some ways, just like all of us are. And so I was thinking, well, heck with it, man. You know, the toughest thing is to go out there and make it happen, you know? And then I'm thinking, you know, Kary, that is stupid. Like, even if your shoulders were in good shape, you're going to kill 2 days. Imagine the amount of income you could generate in 2 days in your unique ability. And folks, it's like ridiculous. I could buy a tree stump grinder, you know? So instead what I did is as I put out there on the Lewis Center networking, I put out there and I said, who's the best to grind a stump or whatever? They sent me the name of somebody, called the guy, Pedro, $85. It's not even the money. It's me with the guilt in my head thinking, you gotta do it. It's tough. Who are you? Because we all have this lame thinking inside our head that says, you know, and listen, I don't care. I'm going to speak on genders for a moment here. Okay. And listen, I'm going to make some stereotypes, and you might think I shouldn't make stereotypes, but I'm just going to. I've heard from some women. I'm just going to say it. I've heard from some women, and maybe guys too, but I've mainly heard this from women, that women say, well, I couldn't hire someone to do my laundry. Oh, hold on a second. I couldn't hire someone to do my laundry. The reason why we struggle with these things, the reason why we struggle with someone delivering groceries or someone mulching our yard, or I don't care what it is, whatever you think is like, some of you might be thinking, well, you can never buy a cake. I don't care. I want you to go through every belief that you've ever had in your life about thinking related to unique ability, finances, poverty thinking. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to challenge it. Because I'll tell you what, you buying a cake, A, it might taste better. B, it might save you 2 hours. Most people don't know their hourly rate. Most people don't know their hourly rate, and therefore they struggle with hiring out things. Or maybe it's not even the money. Maybe it's the pride, or it's what will other people think. What if my deceased parents, I mean, my parents are still living, thank God, love them to death. But what some of you might be saying, what if my deceased great-grandmother knew that I was actually hiring someone to do X, Y, Z, ABC? And that, folks, is poverty thinking, and why most people never break free. Now, I'm gonna teach you something here, okay? I'm being super transparent today, every day. It's the only way I know how to be. We've hired an executive assistant for me. Okay, so you know, you'll find out who that is soon. But anyway, over 100 people applied. We didn't even advertise it really, in a lot of ways, but it came down to this one person, and I'm chatting to this person yesterday, and again, the old Kary would be like, "Oh, something that lady just said doesn't resonate, but I'm just going to let it go," right? Because I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm just being real. But guess what? There was one thing that our top candidate said yesterday, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk to her right now about it. I'm just gonna call it out. And here's the whole point. The whole point was that I asked her this question. I said, what is the worst day? What is the worst day as you an executive assistant, because she was in the past? What was the worst day you ever had? And she said, it's when my boss asked me to detail her car. And I said, tell me more. Why was that your worst day? And she said, because I just felt like I didn't see the point of it. But she said, but I did it anyway because I thought maybe there was a point to it. And here's why, when she said that, I just couldn't let it go. I just couldn't let it go. Because I came back to it later in the interview and I said this. I said, a few minutes ago when you said that, I said, first of all, if I hire you, I'm not your boss. Okay? So I'm no one's boss. I don't like that word. I don't like the concept. We're teammates. So everybody that works with me, I work with them. So there is no boss. So I told this fantastic lady, I said, if we do hire you, I'm not your boss. But I said, I'll tell you what, if I realize that my value in the company is X per hour, and I can achieve that much in the business, here's what I said. There will be times. I said, first of all, I don't detail my car. I don't even know what that means. But I said, there will be times where I will give you a weird request. And you'll be like, what the heck is he even asking me to do that? And what I said is, you won't realize that I have this interview, this proposal, this project. And so by me asking you to go do this random thing that makes no sense, you might think, what's the point? But I said, in my mind, it is a total valuable thing. And you free me up to do what I need to do. And I said, is that okay? And I said, does that resonate with you? And she said, absolutely. Because you showed me why. And I said, fantastic. That was the only sticking point I had with this one person. Because to me, folks, if you are laser focused on what your unique ability is in the marketplace, everything else is negotiable. Let me say that again. I'm not talking about morally or ethically, but I'm saying everything, every other activity on planet Earth, you need to honestly say, should I be doing that? Now, I realize we don't just flip it and get there. I realize that. I realize that this is a process.